It's time for another Friday night movie recommendation with yours truly, Mark Monlux. So this week I'm going to recommend one of my favorite films, I Married a Monster from Outer Space, made in 1958, directed by Gene Fuller Jr. Let's talk about 1958. The Cuban Revolution overtakes Havana. They're basically in charge now. Elvis Presley is inducted into the the U.S. Army. President Eisenhower signs the NASA and Space Act of 1958, and NASA basically gets started. The number one song on the Billboard Top 100 was Domenico Modugno's Volare. And at the Oscars, Miyoshi Umeki wins Best Supporting Actress in her supporting actress role in Sayonara. And the Best Picture goes to The Bridge Over the River Kwai. 1958 was a time of Cold War era hysteria. There were all these films coming out. People refer to it as the atomic age. So a lot of films were being made in the horror and sci-fi genre, where a couple different things are happening. Something comes from outer space, and it is either radioactive or bad, or an invader of some sort. Or you have the nuclear menace causing the apocalypse, or weird things like giant bugs. This was a big era for giant bugs, let me tell you. Anyway, now this movie, I Married a Monster from Outer Space, pretty explicit. We're talking about an invasion from space, and it's building off that hysteria, the fear of communism, in that you don't know who is invading, who it is. It could be your neighbor, could be your brother. You can't tell. And what do they want? They want our women. Basically, these invaders, their species is dying, and so they're looking to secretly repopulate. So that I grew up with these films. I love these types of films, and I found the hysteria in them almost charming. How they would work it, the levels of self-important privilege that gets shown in these is kind of brutal at times. When they say, "Oh, we want your women," it's basically saying it's less about that and the fact that these people are disturbing the status quo. What's wrong with women deciding who they want, whether it be they from outer space or what have you. But no, it's got to be us versus them all the way. Anyway, so I really also enjoyed the performances. We have, the actors and actresses you see in this aren't really that well known by modern audiences. But back in the day, they were regular players. In a lot of the B movies of the time, we're talking horror and westerns. They worked heavily in television. These were career-minded folks. Their work was not subpar in the least, and a lot of them would weave in and out of the industry. Besides doing television work, they would do radio work, or they would take up writing. Like the lead actor in this would later go on to become a science fiction author. So, and I loved watching these people because I saw them consistently in all the films and in the various TV shows when I was growing up. So to me, they're familiar faces. Now, here's an interesting thing about I Married a Monster from Outer Space. It came out as the A feature of a double feature, and the B feature was The Blob with Steve McQueen, an up-and-coming actor at that time. But The Blob actually did better with the audience, and the reason why was it was in color. It was one of the first horror movies that got filmed in color. Big red masks going around and eating people. People found that horrifying. Again, it's something that came from outer space, and it was bad. So it didn't take the marketing folks long to separate the two films from each other, and realizing that they could, have The Blob as a A-lister movie, at least as far as draw goes, but as far as production values go, I Married a Monster, the reason I Married the Monster from Outer Space was the A feature was because it has fantastic production values. The special effects in it are pretty fun. So that's my movie recommendation. You can watch it on Canopy, spelled with a K. Matter of fact, I love this film so much that I made an enamel pin featuring one of the face of the creature from I Married a Monster from Outer Space. You can get this pin along with 6 others in this series. Go to the link below in the doobly-doo on my YouTube channel, and that'll take you to a link to my online store where I sell this gorgeous hunk of man. Anyway, so that's this week's movie review. Movie recommendation. I Married a Monster from Outer Space.